Let's dive in and take a closer look at True Lies 4K UHD presentation against the previous DVD. So while the film does have some obvious work done to it, it's still a very solid 4K presentation that dominates over any previous home media release we've been stuck with for well over 25 years now. The color reproduction is just outstanding, with warmer and brighter colors that are accurately displayed here. The HDR10 and Dolby Vision grading produces excellent strong primaries looking much more appropriate and also used for specific scenes, such as with the opening scene in Switzerland, with the underwater shots, the many shots of outside in the bitter cold, inside the truck. It all carries a very pleasing steely cold blues, and the ice looks more bluish white than just a plain ugly blue. It all looks just more natural and appropriate. While inside the mansion, the colors are warm and natural, with some nice contrast between white shirts, linens, all the gold fixtures. It's all very striking. Now going back to the blue tones, the famous dance sequence between Jamie Lee Curtis and Arnold Schwarzenegger in the hotel room has an absolute perfect shade of blue glow to it that draws out more information. Reds are bolder candy red, such as Bill Paxton's red Corvette that looks beautiful. And also we have some deeper crimson reds, such as blood and blood on faces and scarring that look more naturally red blood. Yellows are also deeper and brighter, such as when Dana is climbing the construction crane at the end. And secondary colors, such as grays and browns, are also handled incredibly well, looking healthier and stronger and more natural. Skin tones are also warmer while looking natural, while on the previous SD versions, including the DVD, the skin tones carry this slight pinkish tint almost to it. Now, we'll be getting to the skin texture soon because that's a huge area of controversy. As for the saturation, it is improved and used for the quality of the image, giving more punch and life, but also looking more natural and warm and never pushing too hot. Contrast is also much better, giving more natural light and really helps improving the daylight scenes, but also the darker and night scenes as well. The black levels on this 4K presentation are excellent. The DVD was a mess, from bright or gray blacks, even from the very start with the Lightstorm logo. It looks very bright black, and other scenes carry some heavy crushing and noise in the blacks. The 4K transfer, especially helped from the HDR10 and Dolby Vision grading, gives even truer, deeper, inky black levels, and an incredible amount of rich shadows that draws out a wealth of information in the image, even drawing out different color tones and details that were hidden in terrible crushing on the DVD. And now it's time to get into one of the biggest sources of contention with this 4K transfer, and that is the image itself. Yes, there are many shots and scenes that do look processed and smoothed out. We already discussed the reasons why behind this decision, and if you forward past the intro, then go back and you'll find out why. It's obvious work was done, and sometimes it does look quite bad, more noticeable within skin textures. That does look a little smoothed out. However, with that said, it is nowhere nearly as bad as the waxy mess of Terminator 2 4K disc. And unlike T2, the over-sharpening or smoothing does not carry throughout the entirety of the film. It's really only certain scenes or shots that were damaged from the negative where the smoothing and process looks the worst. And even with the smoothing and process looked, you just can't deny the image has also never looked this good before. In fact, detail levels are exceptionally strong, looking sharp and vivid, breathing life into almost every shot, especially the heavy action sequences and also facial close-ups. Still reveal stubble, complexions, skin pores, individual hairs, makeup, even lines and wrinkles such as Arnie's face and forehead. Also, we can make out textures and clothing on walls, in and around buildings, and also in rooms. Now, there is one area I was concerned about, and that is the mid-90s rare use of CG effects in the film. And most of the CG effects, especially at the end of the causeway with the fighter jets, with gunfire and missiles, look excellent. And I was surprised how well it actually holds up, along with the model work that holds up as well. However, the ending with the Harrier jet still looks a little wonky and does stick out. But then again, it's always looked a little dodgy with the Uncanny Valley. But that's just inherited CG effects and not an issue with the 4K. Now, I also had a lot of people DMing me, messaging me, telling me that the bit rate is shockingly low, down in the mid 30s to the low 40s, and the disk size is only 55 gigabytes. This isn't 100% true. It did hover sometimes in the 40s, but generally speaking, it was between 67 up to 86 Mbps. And the disk size is not 55 gigabytes, it's 100 gigabytes. Now, another big area of controversy is with the grain structure, where many are saying that all the grain was completely removed throughout the entire film. This is not 100% true. Yes, again, grain management was used and sometimes very heavily, but it's not entirely gone through the entire film. There is still a finer layer of grain that keeps a somewhat filmic appearance, but to a small degree, and also depends on the scene. And of course, yes, I would have preferred film grain to remain. However, I also understand why decisions were made to clean up the image as much as they did, but this will definitely be a sticking point to many fans. However, I think if you can just understand why these decisions were made, and you can enjoy the obvious vast improvements of the 4K UHD disc and what it has to offer, then you're going to have a pleasing and enjoyable experience overall. All right, now we're going to get into the audio presentation of this 4K UHD disc, and True Lies comes with an aggressive and powerful Dolby Atmos track that has immediately made this my go-to demo for Dolby Atmos on my home theater. And a film like True Lies is what Dolby Atmos mixes were made for. The sound effects are loud and boisterous and nuanced all at the same time. The opening sequence alone allows for the crowd of people at the party in the mansion to be heard from various levels of the mansion. And then during the action sequence, the gunshots and explosions explode in every direction, engulfing all those channels that's clear and dynamic. And this is, again, just the beginning of the film. During all the heavy action sequences throughout the film, it also just explodes with gun blasts that come through powerful with punches and explosions, bringing heavy low ends with the bass that has some great rumble to it, along with the jet sequences, kick into high gear with every noise possible, and sounds like there's an actual jet in the room using terrific amount of overhead use. The high channels do bring it in from above, whether it be rain droplets, a rain of bullets, or debris falling, it's all there. Brad Fiddel's score is open and energetic. It just sounds incredible. And dialogue is clean and clear and easy to follow. Alright, so my score for James Cameron's 4K UHD presentation of True Lies. For the video, I really hate to do this. It kind of breaks my heart because there are some great improvements and it does look impressive, especially over what we had before. But the over-processed shots and smoothing does hinder it. I'm going to have to give the video a 3.5 out of a 5. I'm giving the audio a resounding 5 out of a 5. But now I'm going to hand this video over to you. Here's the real test. When you look at the differences here between the two formats, which do you like better? Head over to the comment section and let me know. And I know I'm going to regret this. As always, guys, thanks so much for watching. Keep physical media alive, and we'll see you next time.